your art gives us a way to relate to the immensity of the cosmos and the wonder of the planet on both a spiritual and human level. You help us feel like we belong here and that we are all connected. And I think that's why the response to this initiative has been so positive. There literally hasn't been anybody who didn't say yes when we asked for their help. In the first of many moments of magical symmetry, Michael Carter made a connection with Lita and the Philosophical Research Society, just as we were saying that this would be the ideal place to have this event. And PRS has been an amazing host and partner, from Greg Salyer, the president of this incredible institution, who is totally welcoming and open to whatever shape this would take, to Kelly Carmina, who facilitated and finessed all the details, to Brooke Macbeth, who sourced all the books and made the beautiful display, to Sharon Lineker, who created and refined the event page and got the word out and everybody here. Jessica Trent offered to help with PR before we even knew what the event would be. Thunderwing Studio created a beautiful logo in a matter of days. And Mandy Kahn, the poet in residence here, who has been bringing her message of peace through a series of special events, was totally enthusiastic about creating a new work specially for this event. Thank you all for all those beautiful efforts. And now, I would like to turn over the mic to Maximila Lukash, the best co-organizer anybody could hope to have.
I'm going to try my best not to cry the entire time, but thank you all for being here. I feel like this event is a perfect example of a really simple idea with a lot of love behind it, growing and growing and growing into something that only this community of people could create. So thank you all for being here and for contributing in all of the big and small ways. I would like to thank Robbie Simon, who created a beautiful poster for us. Carlos Nino, who's going to be playing some music for us afterwards. And yes, I should say there's a reception after the lecture. And there's going to be cocktails by Gem and Bolt and Sun Potion, who have generously contributed to our festive celebration. Yeah, Lita, I love you so much. And I can picture myself sitting in your library and dreaming about one day having a space like that and having a sanctuary like that. And I feel like the thing that motivated me throughout this whole process was finding a way to give that back to you, or finding a way to begin to give that back to you, because I know how much it meant to you. And yeah, and that's what this is all about. And thank you so much. And Michael Carter is going to now introduce Lita. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Lita Albuquerque is an internationally renowned installation, environmental artist, painter, and sculptor. She has developed a visual language that brings the realities of time and space to a human scale, and is acclaimed for her ephemeral and permanent artworks executed in the landscape and in public sites. She is the recipient of numerous grants and awards, including a National Science Foundation grant, multiple National Endowments for the Arts awards and grants, the Civitella Ranieri Foundation Fellowship in the Visual Arts, the Cairo Biennial Prize, and she was honored by the Museum of Contemporary Art, Los Angeles, in their 25th anniversary celebration. Albuquerque has been the subject of exhibitions including at the Hirshhorn Museum, the Corcoran Gallery of Art, the San Francisco Museum of Art, the Musée d'Art Moderne, Paris, the Sahi Shimbum in Tokyo, the National Gallery of Modern Art in New Delhi, the Getty Museum, the Los Angeles County Museum of Art, and the Museum of Contemporary Art, Los Angeles, and many, many others. Albuquerque's work investigates our place in the enormity of infinite space and eternal time. In a recent interview, she summarized her intent for an upcoming landscape work by saying, "It's about cosmic consciousness." Now, if you're in this room tonight, that phrase, cosmic consciousness, probably doesn't sound too unusual to you. But if you've been immersed in the art world of the preceding decades, you will recognize that this isn't an idea we discuss very often or at all. It's not an idea that contemporary artists regularly invoke, that art historians and critics debate, or is embedded in arts pedagogy, and so forth. Yet, it is an inquiry that Albuquerque has pursued through the many decades of her practice. However, if you've been immersed in another world, the world of institutions like the PRS, that of philosophy and metaphysics, you will know that this is an idea that we regularly discuss. Cosmic consciousness, universal consciousness, these are deep and core assertions of the wisdom traditions. And that brings me to the point I'd like to make in this introduction, and why I'm especially excited to introduce Lita on this stage today. I strongly believe there is an uncommonly special resonance between this institution and the artist, that they have, in parallel, emerged out of and grown in a shared culture and a way of understanding ourselves and the world. Speaking on this very stage, Manly P. Hall had the following to say about cosmic consciousness. Cosmic consciousness is something we cannot rationally conceive. If we can achieve it at all, it can only be by a direct experience of a consciousness which might be termed a mystical experience. But that this mystical experience available to man can only be one of the lesser reflections of the great pattern itself. Cosmic consciousness cannot be directly experienced. It can only be symbolically experienced through the contemplation of the cosmos. In other words, if there is anywhere a form capable of bringing cosmic consciousness within the conception of man, that form is the cosmos. This is the great mandala. This is the universal symbol by which man may sense the measure of the universal consciousness itself. Despite a rising flood of new data and interpretive theory, the most elemental concepts of an emerging scientific cosmology are simply not embedded in everyday culture. Conversely, the implications of this cosmology, this cosmic consciousness, does not seem implicit in the science. The work of Lita Albuquerque is a reminder that inner space and outer space might be connected in ways seemingly fantastic and impossible. A reminder that the issues we face as individuals, as a culture, as a species, might not be resolvable on the level of the personal and the political alone. Lita Albuquerque has not flinched from the scale of such a challenge. She is one of the rare beings who is responsible for thoughtfully and imaginatively proposing a map for a living cosmology for this new century and this new millennia. Please join me in welcoming Lita Albuquerque.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you so much, Steffi. Thank you, Maximilla. Thank you, Greg, and the Philosophical Research Center. You can't imagine what it feels like to be here. And to be here with all of you and with all the love. I was telling a friend, Jane, who's here, that the fire is almost like it was worth that it happened to have all this love. I totally mean that. I've never experienced such profound connectedness. And my childhood was very different. I grew up in a Catholic convent in Carthage in North Africa from a very early age. And it was very difficult to be away from my mother, who lived not that far away, but she lived away from my brother, who's sitting here. And it took many years of, first of all, of love of nature, of love of being part of this extraordinary planet we live on, and many years of anguish and depression and trying to figure out all this stuff inside. And so to be here, and a very difficult or a non-existent relationship to a father I saw twice in my life. And so love was something that was not quite something I knew. Now I have someone else who's sitting in this room who has given me so much love. I'm able to stand here, and that's my husband, Carrie Peck, of 30 years. And who unflinching support and love connects me every day, and certainly through this year of the fire, of after the fire. And so I just want to tell everybody here how grateful I am and how connected I feel to all of you, and also for all of our love of books. My husband also is a great lover of books and is a poet and has great love of incredible poetry. We used to have poetry readings at our place every year called Pasta and Poetry that he invented. And we had books all over the house. And so what I want to start with, and there's something else I want to say. Mandy mentioned the art children, and we have adopted just about all of our children. But I also want to talk about our children. We have 4 extraordinary children. Isabel Albuquerque, who's an amazing artist. Jasmine Albuquerque, who has been my muse, of course, my love, all of you, and who with Emeka has that little baby who just said something. And Marissa Peck, who is now with us today, and Christopher Peck, who is traveling the world and is in South Africa right now. So I'm very proud of my actual children as well. So I want to start with the present moment, or sort of present. It was last night. In fact, I think Michael Slansky just walked in. He was a curator of a show called LA on Fire that opened last night. And I just want to start with what I wrote for the catalog for that show. When I found the drawer full of my camera lenses in the rubble, I was ecstatic. My relationship to photography and the gaze has deep roots for me. As a very young child growing up in the fishing village of La Goulette in Tunisia, my bedroom was in my mother's darkroom. I remember the smell of the developer and the fixer in that cold stone house by the sea, and seeing the film as it came up in the trays. Both my mother and my brother Fred were photo buffs. I grew up with both their roaming lenses. Their intense need to continually express and to look through, to frame, was part of the architecture of my childhood. When I reached America at the age of 11, it was through that language, nonverbal, that I began to perceive what America meant to me. When I moved into an artist colony on a bluff overlooking the Pacific, I had a ritual that lasted years. I would photograph the horizon of the sea, then photograph myself gazing at the horizon, then write about my relationship to what I saw through that lens. Since then, I accumulated many cameras and many lenses, always in search of what I would love the best, like my Pentax that ended up buried in the Egyptian sand while riding on horseback between Giza and the Saqqara pyramids. There were the years I shot a roll a day just to sharpen my vision, just to understand what it was that the lens brought to me. And then there was the fire. November 9th, 2018, the Woolsey Fire ravaged our neighborhood, and those years of writing about the gaze also went up in flames. And so finding my lenses, all of them, still in a drawer, brought peace to my broken heart. I think of these lenses as the transformative nature of the object, that the lenses themselves still retain that quest, albeit transformed. And it is in that transformed object that I understand the nature of fire, pushing us to the other side, to another level of life, another level of connectivity, another level of creativity. I chose to show these lenses as objects of perception and objects of transformation, a fast forward into the nature of time. Thank you. So another extraordinary thing happened the morning of the fire. We weren't home. My husband and I were downtown LA, and my daughter, Jasmine, who's sitting here with her beautiful child, was pregnant with him at the time. And I called her and I said, grab my hard drives and grab your dream journal. She has been writing her dreams, her incredibly complex dreams ever since she was 5, and had them all in a suitcase. I never read them, but I knew she had a suitcase full of her dreams. Before I could say, please grab my notebooks, grab my precious notebooks, grab my photographs, the phone went dead. Luckily, she did. She was able to gather a few binders and some of the notebooks. I had 50 years of writing. She did grab 83 through 90, I think. And she grabbed one of automatic writing. Now, automatic writing is something I started doing in 1975. I just focus on the time and date the way I did in the library, and then I start writing. When I first did it, it was very awkward, and then I just started to trust it, and sometimes I didn't trust it. And so I've never read these to anyone. I mean, occasionally I have read them to my husband. I've read them to my assistant, Marcus, who's sitting here as well, who encouraged me to do this today. So thank you, Marcus. So I just picked a few, and I will start. This is May 4th, 1993, from the Marina Studio, California, 12:12 p.m., May 4th, 1993. As we have told you, go ahead and leap from your trapeze into the clear space of blue, into the clear blue space. This morning you did the arc meditation beautifully. You're getting it. The dance is from one rim rotation to another. The rim of the ellipse of the arc meditation is equal to the rim of the movement of the planet Earth in space. This is May 4th, 1993, from the Marina Studio, California, 1:16 p.m. Rim rotations, ellipses, ellipses in space, from the heart to the sun, from the sun to your heart, right through your heart. The planet is named Earth because it is a listening system, an ear to the heart. But most people have forgotten that. That was its origin. It was its original purpose, the origin of its existence. The planet Earth as an ear to the universe as a gigantic heart, the sun as a microcosm of the heart of the universe, ear heart. This is the time to reconnect with the origin of the purpose of the planet, which was to be an instrument of listening. It is to remember the distinction of listening to the heart. The heart is our origin. The heart is our source. The distinction of planet Earth as a reminder of the heart, as a reminder of our origin, as a reminder of our source. We have come back. We have come back in swarms by the thousands to remind you to go back to listening. It is the time to remember. It is the time to re-listen. It is the time to listen. Intuition as a listening system. It is also the time to reconnect with the intuitive system. This is how we worked then. There was a network of listening system in the Earth planet connected to places throughout the universe. And it was a known fact that the planet Earth was a listening system for the heart. It was its distinction. Everyone was connected to that listening system. The power spots of the Earth function like stethoscopes to the universe. That is why there's so much information embedded in those places, and that is why there is such interest in them now. We're coming in swarms by the thousands to remind you of who you are. You're the direct listening system to the source, to the heart in process of becoming all heart. As above, so below. Universal laws are there as a process. They are living organisms. As above, so below. As a concept is in process of becoming. The Earth is in process of becoming what it is listening to. We're all in process of becoming what we listen to. It is important to listen to the right thing, is it not? This is January 27, 1993 from the Hill property, Malibu, California, 10:38 p.m., January 27, 1993. Today was an extraordinary day. You experienced both the influence of the sun and of the moon on your thoughts. What you really experienced was the influence of the memory coming from the sun and memory coming from the moon. The amount of information that comes from the interior, that is from us, is one thing. However, the information that comes from the interior bouncing off the exterior, such as the sun or the moon, creates a triangular relationship between self, the environment, and the inner world, and therefore accesses an exponential amount of information. The fact that it is reflected in the exterior, such as the sun and the rays of light coming from the sun or from the moon and its relationship to Venus. The different gravitational pulls of Venus and the moon pulls on the tides inside the DNA structure, releasing memory pods so that the information feels fuller, feels more powerful. The gaze out to the environment, out the relational points in the earth and outside the earth plane is what triggers the flow of memory. Without the gaze and the ensuing recognition of the reflective nature of things, the information carries a different vibrational structure. The gaze and what the eyes are gazing at floods the body with wonderful feelings, feelings of recognition and feelings of love. Those feelings bathe the nervous system in a state of nirvana or bliss. The gaze looking, the eyes are all an act of seduction and of being seduced. The gaze locks one in an embrace with a loved object, and the outcome is a mating of sorts. The gaze inwards is of a different nature. Its reflection is more mental than physical. The gaze inward is going into the darkness, is a vision without eyes, a vision nevertheless, but without eyes. The eyes are projections of desire. The eyes offer the illusion of intimacy. The eyes are instruments of coupling. This is January 5th, 1993 from Lechuza property, Malibu, California, 10:08 a.m. January 5th, 1993, Malibu, California. You still have not found the appropriate name to locate you on this property, this knoll in the Malibu Hills, but so different than the other Malibu that is cannot be called Malibu per se, and the other location is the treehouse, and you have not named your property yet. The name will come to you this year, and it will be very appropriate So for now, this is January 5th, 1993, from the property. Even that reminds you of other places. From the hill in Malibu, January 5th, 1993. You're so far removed from us this morning, it is hard to get you back. You're so very much in the details of the world, and we don't quite know how to make you understand that what matters is what comes from the deeper places, the deeper movements. With this year, it is coming to be imperative that you get it, especially since your mind wants to go the other way. Why don't you at present copy what you wrote by hand this morning for now, then come back this afternoon to complete the day, then also go to January 4th, and tomorrow will be the start of the new order of being for you, for your soul, for our connection, all right? This is January 5th, 1993 at 5:15 a.m. As you can tell, the acceleration has started. Many people are going to be caught off guard, including you. But what will ground you will be our daily transmissions, and we want them to be daily now. They have to be daily now. If you skip a day or two, you need to put in the frequency of that day and write from there. So we will ask you to do yesterday today. We're going to have one day for this year, and the reason is one a day for this year, and the reason is the acceleration. It will enable you to be anchored and to understand our transition. We sense you have had questions these last few days as to when, how to do the commitments we have asked. So far, we know the writing has to be done in the morning when you're fresh. Maybe from 6 to 7 a.m., is that possible? The writing 7:30 to 8:30 when Dora takes your children to school. That would be good for us. Try it tomorrow. There is no reason why it should not work. That's it, sorry. This is May 12th, 1992, from Lechusa Property Treehouse, Malibu, California. This is May 12th, 1992, 9:14 a.m., from Lechusa Property Treehouse, Mont du Soleil, Malibu, California, May 12th, 1992, 9:17 a.m. You will be amazed at how everything occurs through frequency of vibrations. That is why everything has meaning, why everything has importance, and why being responsive, i.e. responsible, is important. There's nothing that doesn't affect everything else. The universe is one moving mass of vibrational frequencies occurring at a rate generated by the thought forms and emotional vibrations of the entities within it. That is why mathematics and order have such a powerful influence. Certain geometries have speed attached to them. Swiftness and accuracy are physical enablers whose particles will then attach themselves to geometries as they're traveling through time. We have a lot more to tell you, but you're interfering with us. Our movement is what will be manifested, but remember, as above, so below. Our movement is connected to yours. You have the keys. You have the mechanics. We have the vision. We have to work together. There is a place in the heart where the mouth meets the heart. There is a place where the heart speaks. One must go to that place of the heart. Remember, earth, hear, heart, to hear earth, to hear the earth, to hearth. Heart is about hearing the earth. Go to the place of hearing the earth. It will be the place of the heart. We love you. Go. You may go. You want to go. We wish you would listen. This doesn't have a date, but I remember that it was in 1992. What is intuitively perceived is there encoded in the DNA structure as a faint memory. Start over. What is intuitively perceived is there encoded in the DNA structure as a faint memory. Intuition functions as an ear, as the auditory system to memory encoding. Intuition as the ear to memory. We're talking about all the different kinds of memory that intuition listens to, such as genetic memory, memory of the body, memory of the earth, memory of the stars, memory of the sun, memory of the solar system, memory of the universe. In actuality, intuition does draw on all of these memories. Those who are attached to the earth plane, who have their face on the ground, cannot have any listening and therefore no intuition. Intuition comes from the gaze up and in, from the ear cocked up and inward. To listen also means to understand. In the training of oneself to observe what is, the desired result of that training is to put oneself in the present. The present opens the doors of perception. Most people look everywhere when it is right here in the observable moment. Reflectivity and reflection also brings us back to the present, brings us back to oneself. In the reflection, we see ourselves. Interesting that the word reflection functions both descriptively and as an act. It is in that point of physical reflection and inner reflection that I'm interested in finding the source. It is always about the source. And the source is in the containment of the self, in the containment of all thoughts, in the containment of the universe itself. To stand at the edge of the self, to stand at the horizon of your breath, to take that flight into space, into the space of your breath. Thank you. This is July 7th, 1996. It is 7:43 a.m. in planetary time. You are the Lechuza Property Treehouse, Malibu, California, United States of America, Western Hemisphere, planet Earth. It is Sunday, July 7th, 1996 at 7:44 a.m. from the Lechuza Property Treehouse, Malibu, California. Sunday, July 7th, 1996 at 7:44 a.m. There is no doubt that the exhalation has occurred and that the light is in you. However, you need to receive it. Your body has to be in such a way as to receive it. Yes, deep breathing would help very much. It is July 7, 1996. You can feel how we have moved on. It is not that we're not here for you. It is that we feel that we have seeded you, and it is time to seed others, you know? That now you can write directly. You do not need to write through us. We're flying to other directions and other fields, but you have been seeded. All you need to do is sprout. Do not be afraid. Try it. This is July 7th, 1996. There is no doubt that we have entered another season of the soul, another epoch. The air around us is different now. The breath we breathe, the particles of air we breathe are filled with a different kind of energy that we must respond to now. The particles are popping in our mouths, into our taste buds, infiltrating our consciousness. We cannot be but who we are presently in this new season. This is July 7th, 1996, and we're fastly joining with our divine inheritance. Our cells, all of our cells in our body, are in process of ascension. You can feel it, can't you? The cells are ascending, are in process of ascension. You can feel the upward movement, the movement toward a joining, a mirroring. I, as Uno, am so happy in this moment. It had been such a long time since I have felt this depth which is the river from which I navigate, which shows me the way as opposed to the whirlwind of the illusion of a life. This is the depth at which I like to experience my life, and out of which I express my life. This is a place where there is no time, where I can dip into the memories of all of my previous lives and into the visions of my future ones. This is where I can play. From here, I create. This place is different. From a planetary point of view, it takes an effort not to use the organ of the mind. It takes discipline. But this does operate from a different center, and I must honor that. When I need to flip back to the mind, I will do so. But this, in fact, is the source. and this is not to be feared. Most planetary beings have not been taught this center and are fearful of it. I, too, have the memory of fear associated with it, only slightly, only when I think I should do the other, which I do not need to presently. From this position, it is about an overview. I can feel being pulled by the mind, and I will respond, but in the end, this is the one that makes the larger movement of one's life happen. We all know this. Okay, go to what you need to do for the day, but come back. God bless the place where there is no time. This is Sunday, December 29th, 1996. It is 8:23 a.m. from the Lechusa Property Treehouse, Malibu, California, United States of America, Western Hemisphere, planet Earth. This is Sunday, December 29th, 1926. It is 8:23 a.m. from the Lechusa Property Treehouse, Malibu, California. We are so happy. We are so happy you have made it. You have made it home. You, my dear Lizeria, you, dear Uno, know what we mean by home. This is Wednesday, March 5th, 1997. It is 5:19 a.m. Good morning. Take in the air. Take in the night. Take in the stars. Hello. Hello. Do you see us? Yes, for we are of the stars, points of origin, points of your origin, mirroring souls. We're all around you, surrounding you forever with you. Do you not see us, Elizaria? Do you not recognize us? Remember, Uno? Remember your initiation and write from that angle. Be real. What we sent you that morning when we took over, remember, this is your life's mission. The words will come. Think of a title. This is Wednesday, March 5th, 1997. Remember what Orion looked like on March 2nd. This is the last one. This is Monday, December 26th of the year 2011 at 6:16 p.m. from the Lechusa Property Studio, Malibu, California. Monday, December 26th of the year 2011 at 6:19 p.m. Thank you so much for checking in with us today. We loved it that you helped us with the rotation of the Earth around the sun. Yes, we were there, and we had been waiting for you. You asked for our help, and we will give it to you. The Earth is in a deep process of transformation, which will take you, all the sentient beings on her, to a higher dimension. In order for that to happen at the speed that we need to happen, the Kundalini of the Earth has been activated, and you and others have been the key points on the planet that have assisted in that acceleration. Now is the time for the humans to also get in that space, and you will have to do it. This energy is very intense for you, and you're backing out. It is hard for you to take it. You read about Kundalini energy and how it occurs for most people. For you, it occurs through us, through words. This is an energy form. We are an energy form, and so are you. You're not strong enough to take it. You have got to fill the vessel. You need to show this energy that is going through you in words. We're sorry that you stopped your text. Genius remembered. And you know, you need to go back to it. You will in fact be writing in the future, and you will in fact make a film, we promise. I just completed it. Called Liquid Light. Okay. You have to understand that we are the Kundalini force you have been waiting for, and that you had it in you this whole time. We're going to give you plenty, do not fear. Today, tonight, is the night after Christmas. The moon is in its first quarter, and it is still outside. The world is at peace, at least for a day. There is so little now on the surface of the planet. The third dimension is so thin. The air is thin. It has lost oxygen. We need to bring oxygen into the third dimension. The body is a processing center, processing of consciousness. You on planet Earth understand physical processes, but the body is also a processing center for consciousness and the energy fields that exist outside of you. There are emissaries everywhere. You will find them. You simply need to remain strong and to go back to that moment when you forged ahead. Now you're arriving. The aspect in your arms and you are giving it love. It will change things for you drastically. For one, you will be able to withstand us and our energy, and you will recover us. Thank you, by the way, for not balking at this information. We're grateful. We're receiving your gratitude as well. Thank you. You may go now, be with your family, and come back to do the work. It will be a ride and fun. God bless. This is Tuesday, December 27th of the year 2011 at 11:58 a.m. from the Lechuza Property Treehouse, Malibu, California. At 11:59 a.m. This is a good place for you to receive us, this treehouse. It is where we first contacted you when you moved here, and we instructed you to make it into the place that it has become. Wow, that was some fury. What happened? Why such energy here? Put it in your work. Hard to transmit when you're in that state. Calm down first, then let's see where you're at. Okay. So I'm going to end with a poem that I wrote on the eve of the millennium, 2000, which I feel resonates today on the eve of the year 2020. I see beings of planet Earth arriving one by one in silence, a shared rendezvous at the stroke of midnight of the year 2020 AD. Skating on icicles of star fields, feet in stardust. Their bodies spun in geometric and numerical sequencing aligned at the mythic horizon. They watch come in what they have always known, stamped in the light of their soul's memory and in the darkness of night's remembrance, the immensity of their togetherness, the agreement of their standing at the horizon, side by side, sensing the first shiver, the first flutter of the opening of the heart. I just want to add at the end that I did some drawings a few months ago, and Fabia, who's also sitting in the audience, walked in and she said, wow, they're all about light and electricity and connectivity. They're a little foreboding, but also hopeful. But I also feel that there's such a state of urgency here. And I feel that after reading through all of my automatic writings, not just the ones I read you, I feel that there's ever more this sense of urgency. And I think as 2020 is about to arrive, I sense this energy coming up even stronger, and how we need to take all this on, how we need to become who we are. And today we're doing it. I mean, we're doing it. This heartfelt event we're doing it. We're all here together and we're doing it. So I want to thank you. Thank you, Steffi. Thank you, Max. Thank you, everybody.
Okay, a couple things. If you brought a book for Lita, there's a bookshelf in the bookstore, which is going to be open, so you can place it on the bookshelf. There's also books for purchase if you haven't bought a book and you'd like to buy one. There's a couple of books here, and also you can still make donations online. And there's going to be a reception in the courtyard with some lovely cocktails and snacks and music, and so enjoy. And
yeah, if you have any questions, please. I realize that would be wonderful.
Oh, actually, yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, okay.
Let's do that.
Okay.
Oh my God, let's do that. Yeah.
No one wants to say anything. I can talk about the film in the back here. It's a film that I did for the Great American Eclipse in 2017. It was for a show at Art Center College of Design in Pasadena. And I decided to go, even though I, for months, studied the eclipse. I studied my relationship to the sun. Every time I would walk, I would be so conscious where the sun was in relationship to my body, and I was really getting into that darkness and light. And then I went to Greece, and I started shooting the ocean and rocks there, and I started writing about darkness and light. And what came out was this very personal writing of my childhood. And it was kind of great to do that, to transform a cosmic event into a personal story. And so it was also interesting that it's the first time I've read such personal writing. And so I wanted to say that. Yes. Aha, yes. Planning the library. We are in process of designing with Brian Murphy, who's a friend from way back. He's an architect in Santa Monica. And we have to go through all kinds of building department and all of that. So it's very, very slow process. And but we have talked about the library quite a bit, and we're just beginning that. Yes?
Hi, Lita. I would just like to say that you mentioned that your poems were very personal the first time you shared all those personal poems, and I felt such a personal effect and the core of my being, and you were reflecting in the beginning when you talked about macrocosm, microcosm, and how we are these vessels that triangulate in nature and light, and from our being into our deeper understanding of ourselves. And everything you said was so inspiring. And I just want to thank you from my heart to the earth's heart.
Thank you. Well, I hope, this writing isn't for me, it's for all of us. And it's about all of us. And so thank you that it reaches. Thank you. Yes.
I'm not sure if you explained it earlier, but it felt like I was trying to understand if you were sort of channeling something or some energy, or whether the words were sort of leading you. It almost felt like the words of their own sort of spirit was guiding you in a sense.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. I really fought with this, as you can tell in some of them. I think what it is just getting out of the way. I focused on the time and date, and then I would just let it happen, kind of see where it went. And it does, a lot of times it feels like I'm writing it, but then I've actually had some where I'm like arguing with them, and they're saying, no, we're here. And then when they are no longer, they've disappeared. I haven't done it in a long time. So the thinking is very much how I think, but I don't know. I call them the boys upstairs. Yes. So I was given, I went with my young infant son when he was 4 months old to the Big Island in Hawaii, and he was in a little pouch, and I walked through the crater, and when I was there we were given names internally, but I was given the name Uno. And then later on I developed one of the writings that's not here, that's not automatic, is the development of this book that I call Genius Remembered, and Genius is in 3 fonts. GEN is for our genealogy, I is like all there is, and us is us. So it's about remembering us through our genealogy and all there is, right? And I started writing this text in 2003. And through that text, I developed a character named Elizaria. And she is a 25th century female astronaut who has a mission to come to this planet to seed interstellar consciousness. And she comes in the year 6000 BC at first. And sitting in the audience is my daughter Jasmine, who has played her role in 2 films now and in quite a few installations. And so I'm forgetting what you asked me. Oh, Elizaria, the names. Yeah, so the name, so yes, there I went from the automatic writing to me. That's when I said, I feel great to be in this kind of space. But it is different writing. In fact, today I read not automatic writing to my husband, and I thought, what do you think of this? And he said, no, just stick to the automatic writing. It's very different. So, except for the piece I read in the beginning, it's all this more channeled kind of writing. But it is very much how I've put thoughts together, but it's them too. No offense. Yes?
Have you thought about releasing a play that way?
I have wanted to forever, and I've been so shy about it, and I think it's time.
Don't be shy.
Yes. Thank you. In fact, there's a little thing over there that said, you should look at it. It says, now is the time. And also, right here is who I am. I'm an alien. I'm a dancer. I'm a surgeon. I'm an athlete. I'm a surveyor. I'm a visionary. I'm a navigator. I'm an astronaut. I'm a mathematician. I come from the future. So who knows? Any other? Yes, Jasmine.
The boys upstairs seem like they really like the library.
Yes.
Have you gone back and talked to
Oh, wow.
them again?
I haven't. That's a good point. I haven't, it's interesting. I haven't done automatic writing since the fire, actually. Yeah, I should do that. Yeah. Yeah, they do like certain places. I also used to live on another property in Malibu. It was 132 acres of land overlooking the ocean, not too far from the city. And the energies there were amazing. And I wrote poetry like crazy there. It was just like flowing out of me. So it's these spaces, it's like, I don't know how much what I read was about alignments, but it's all about aligning the body to the earth and to the stars and getting into that space where creation can happen. Yes?
Oh, I just have to ask about the fire. Like you mentioned something about the fire being like a part of this time, that we could be empowered by it.
Yes. I said, this was in the first writing, I said that it's, let me see exactly, that it takes you to another level of life, another level of connectivity, another level of creativity. I really do feel, interesting, when I read this to Carrie, he said, I think it was you who said, the fire is what's making you sprout. There was that thing about seeding, and now all you have to do is sprout. That was 20 years ago, 25 years ago, but I think the fire has allowed for my seed to sprout. It's kind of amazing. I think it has. Just like I said, just to feel the community and to feel the love and to feel that kind of connectivity in a way that's so profound. And it's everything that I write about. I write about the opening of the heart, and it's happening.
Well, what's so beautiful is that in Los Angeles, I know so many people who are so afraid of fire right now. We're always.
Well, I wouldn't wish it on anyone.
What I'm saying is that you are somebody who has persevered and can share a different perspective on the fear.
Yeah, it's interesting because we were surrounded by fire in 1993 and then again, I think in 97. And I'll never forget it. the first time I had decided, even though there were flames all around us, I mean far away, but around us, I had decided to go teaching in Pasadena. And then I heard something, and I raced home, and I knew that my library was gone. I was like, it was like the worst experience I've ever had. And in that moment, I wrote about it, actually. I don't have it here, but I wrote about it. And in that moment, I kind of switched to, especially because I hung on my books so much, and so much about the knowledge in the books. And then I flipped into the, what did I call it? The actual self. That all of a sudden I realized, no, all of that's in me. You know, all of that knowledge is inside me. And something shifted. I got home and nothing was burnt, you know, so that was great. And I wonder at times if that helped us, you know, or me having, I had such intense fear then, if it helped this time. Well, I mean, this time was the worst. I mean, it was everything gone, which was a little shocking. But yes, there is another way of, I mean, I've had so much support too, so it's been amazing. And Carrie holding me every day while I'm crying for 3 hours every morning. You know, it's like, there's a lot of love. But, you know, it's not about letting go of things, because it's not about things. Obviously, it's about writings and this kind of thing. But it is your life, you know, it's everything. And for me, we had put a lot into this life that we had. And all our children would bring their friends, and there's so many films filmed there, and so many weddings, and it was really an amazing property, which is still there. So yeah, it does feel generative. It is generative, and it is a process, you know, like, and we're here today, and I'm incredibly happy. So, you're welcome. Thank you.